Hi, welcome to Movies Moment. Today we are going to explain a movie called The Cabin in the Woods. Spoilers ahead. Subscribe if you like this and catch us on the next one. Take care.
The movie starts at a strange building with two grown-ups talking about boring grown-up stuff, like getting married and having kids. A younger grown-up, dressed in a science coat, tries to tell them something important that happened at a place called Stockholm. But the two grown-ups don't seem to care much. They talk about another place, like Japan, being better at their jobs, and their own place usually coming in second. They hop on a tiny car and drive away. Before they leave, the younger grown-up invites the older one to his house for the weekend. Next, we see a college room where Dana and Jules are chatting about school. Sounds like Dana had a fight with a teacher she liked a lot. Then, Kurt, Jules' boyfriend, shows up and throws a ball at them. It goes flying outside, but luckily Kurt's friend Holden catches it. They're all going on a trip for the weekend to a cabin by the lake that belongs to Kurt's cousin. Dana finishes packing, and they head downstairs to get their RV ready. Just as they're about to leave, their friend Marty arrives in his car, smoking something funny from a giant cup. Meanwhile, back at the strange building from before, two guys named Sitterson and Hadley are watching everything on screens. They seem to be putting something sneaky in the girls' stuff and Marty's smoke, but we don't know why yet. Our friends are almost at the cabin, but first they need gas and directions. The guy helping them, Mordecai, seems a little off. He warns them about getting back from the cabin, but the college kids just laugh. Things almost get heated when Mordecai calls Jules a bad name, but they luckily get back on the road. On their way, they have to drive through a spooky tunnel. A bird tries to fly across a giant invisible wall and gets zapped. Back at the weird building, one of the grown-ups gets a call from Mordecai. He tells them the college kids are on their way, but almost didn't make it because of a troublemaker. The grown-ups laugh at Mordecai for getting mad they put him on speakerphone. They finally reach the cabin and unpack. It seems like someone, maybe the grown-ups from the weird building, is watching them with hidden cameras. Holden discovers a creepy painting in his room and accidentally peeks through a hole in the wall into Dana's room. Luckily, Dana isn't aware there's a secret window, and Holden warns her about a revealing mirror. They switch rooms so no more peeking happens, but now Dana gets a good look at Holden and seems to be impressed. Meanwhile, back at the strange building, things are heating up. A bunch of grown-ups are placing bets on what will happen to the college kids at the cabin. One guy, Hadley, really wants something called a merman to win. A new guy named Truman is totally freaked out by this whole thing. Another grown-up, Lynn, tries to calm him down, explaining it's all important even though it seems weird. Truman still doesn't think it's fair, but everyone else seems to accept it. Back at the cabin, things get wild. Everyone's drinking and smoking Marty's stuff, and the mood is getting crazy. They play a game where they have to tell the truth or do a dare. Jules gets dared to kiss a wolf head on the wall, yuck, and then it's Dana's turn. She picks dare, and wouldn't you know it, the creepy basement door flies open. They all dare Dana to go down there, so she does, with everyone else following close behind. The basement is full of spooky stuff. Dana finds a diary, Kurt picks up a weird ball, Jules gets all excited about a wedding dress, Marty plays with a seashell, and Holden is mesmerized by a ballerina music box. Suddenly, things get tense back at the weird building. The grown-ups watching everything are silent and on edge. Back at the cabin, Dana calls everyone over because she's found something crazy in the diary. It's about a young girl who was badly hurt by her dad. Apparently, if someone reads some special words at the end, everyone who died in the diary comes back to life. Marty thinks it's a bad idea to read the words, but Dana hears a voice telling her to do it. Weird. Ignoring Marty's warning, Dana reads the words, and outside the cabin, well, let's just say things are about to get seriously scary. Back at the weird building, the grown-ups are having their own victory party. It seems the new guy and the maintenance crew won their bet because they guessed redneck zombies would be the monsters. Hadley is super bummed he won't get to see his dream monster, a merman. Meanwhile, things at the cabin are going downhill fast. Jules and Kurt are acting totally different. Jules is dancing weirdly and Kurt is being mean to her. Marty notices something's off, but nobody listens. Jules and Kurt decide to take a walk in the woods, but thanks to some mysterious fog, they end up fooling around. Big mistake. Zombies show up and attack them. Jules gets hurt, but Kurt saves her, barely. Unfortunately, the zombies grab Jules again and, well, let's just say things don't end well for her. Kurt escapes and runs back to the cabin, totally freaked out. Back at the facility, Marty. Things get dark as Jules meets her demise. Hadley and Sitterson mutter what sounds like a prayer, then activate a lever. Blood flows from Jules' sacrifice, filling a creepy stone tablet with the shape of a woman, the whore, as they call her. The ground trembles with a dark energy. Meanwhile, at the cabin, Marty gets a creepy feeling and steps outside just as a terrified Kurt bursts in, fighting off a zombie. They scramble inside and lock the door. Kurt reveals the horrifying news about Jules. The group decides to hunker down together and barricade the cabin. However, thanks to some unseen trickery from the facility, a voice only Marty hears, they're tricked into splitting up. Ignoring Marty's pleas, Dana, Holden, and Marty all head to separate rooms. And just like that, with a sinister click, the doors slam shut, locking them all in. Back at the weird building, things get confusing. Marty's messing everything up. He's not acting how they planned, and somehow he can even hear the voices they use to manipulate the others. The grown-ups are worried he'll spoil the whole thing. Over at the cabin, Marty gets spooked and breaks a lamp. While picking it up, he discovers a hidden camera. This proves his suspicions about the whole place being messed with. Just as he's about to investigate further, a zombie crashes through the window and snatches him away. They struggle. There are awful noises, and, well, let's just say things don't end well for poor Marty. Back at the facility, the grown-ups are happy Marty's out of the picture, but they're still puzzled. Why wasn't their plan working on him? After some investigation, they figure it out. Remember that giant stash of pot Marty had? Turns out they accidentally missed one of his hiding spots, and whatever was in there made him immune to their tricks. Meanwhile, with another sacrifice, the reveler, the blood flows and the ground shakes violently. Meanwhile, at the cabin, things are getting brutal. A zombie tries to break through Dana's window, and the commotion alerts Holden in the next room. He smashes through the connecting wall and pulls Dana to safety. Together, they discover a hidden door in the floor leading to another creepy basement room, the same one where the diary girl was tortured. Trapped with no escape, a zombie lunges at them. Holden takes a fatal stab in the back, but Dana manages to fight back, repeatedly stabbing the zombie just as Kurt bursts through the door. With no time to mourn, they pile into the RV and slam the door shut. A chilling sight, a bloody handprint appears on the outside of the door. As they desperately speed towards the tunnel exit, things take a turn for the worse at the facility. Hadley realizes in horror that the crew tasked with collapsing the tunnel, trapping the college students, completely messed up. Now Dana, Kurt, and the RV are hurtling towards a dead end, while Hadley and Sitterson scramble to fix their mistake. The RV races through the tunnel, but their escape is short-lived. The tunnel crumbles behind them, forcing them to reverse back out just in the nick of time. With a glimmer of hope, Kurt grabs his dirt bike from the RV, planning to jump the ravine and get help. Tragically, just like the bird, he hits an invisible barrier and dies, cue blood filling the jock outline at the facility. Witnessing Kurt's demise, Dana and Holden are left in shock. Marty's warnings finally sink in. There's something seriously messed up about this place. They turn back towards the cabin, desperately searching for a way out. But fate isn't on their side. Holden is struck down by another zombie, more blood for the scholar outline, and the RV careens out of control, crashing into the lake. Just when it seems all hope is lost, Dana emerges from the wreckage. She manages to escape through the RV's hatch and swims for the surface. Reaching the pier, she gasps for air, only to be met by the relentless zombie who climbs out of the water to attack. Back at the weird building, there's a party atmosphere. The grown-ups are celebrating a successful ritual, even though Dana, the virgin, according to their plan, is still alive. Apparently, this is a big deal because all the other facilities, Japan, Germany, etc., failed their rituals. They pop open champagne and toast their victory. Suddenly, the red phone rings. Hadley picks up, and the mood turns serious fast. There's been a rule break. Someone is still alive. Whoever dies first, Dana or the unseen person on the phone, determines who wins or loses this whole thing. Back at the cabin, Dana is still battling the creepy zombie dad. But just when things look hopeless, a surprising hero emerges. Marty bursts out of nowhere and whacks the zombie with his giant bong vaporizer. The zombie falls into the water, defeated. Marty grabs a dazed Dana and they sprint into the woods, chased by more zombies. Marty dives headfirst into one of the open graves the zombies came from and starts digging furiously. Dana is completely confused, but has no choice but to follow. Just as the zombies close in, Marty rips open a hidden door in the grave and they both tumble through, disappearing into the darkness before the zombies can grab them. Marty reveals a shocking truth. He found a hidden control panel and messed with it, causing the tunnel to stay open. This explains why their escape wasn't blocked. He also found this elevator. He figures someone must be behind the attacks, using it to send the monsters. Dana hesitates about getting in, but they're trapped. As the elevator ascends, they see through the glass walls. There are many other elevators, each containing a terrifying creature. These creatures look just like the creepy items they found in the cabin's basement: the ballerina music box monster, the puzzle ball monster, even a monstrous bride. Looking at them, Dana realizes something. The group at the cabin, unknowingly, chose their deaths by picking up those items. Chaos erupts at the weird building. Dana and Marty reaching the facility throws everything into disarray. The grown-ups decide Marty must die first to get things back on track. They send an armed guard to kill them, but a pesky zombie gets in the way, and Dana and Marty end up killing the guard instead. A creepy voice over the loudspeaker tries to convince them to give up, but Dana and Marty aren't buying it. More guards attack, forcing them to take cover in a control room. There, Dana spots a control panel for the monster elevators. As the soldiers unleash a hail of bullets, Dana and Marty start pushing buttons in a desperate attempt to fight back. Suddenly, Dana slams her fist on a giant red button labeled Purge System. Alarms blare throughout the facility. With a horrifying creak, all the monster elevators fling open, unleashing a nightmarish horde upon the building. The soldiers are no match for the creatures, who rampage through the facility, slaughtering everyone in sight. Cornered by monsters themselves, Dana and Marty barely escape through a hole ripped open in the chaos. Back in the control room, the grown-ups face the consequences of their actions. Monsters they unleashed earlier tear through the room, killing Hadley, Lynn, and Truman. Ironically, Hadley gets his wish. He sees a merman monster right before it attacks him. Meanwhile, Sitterson, another one of the grown-ups, finds an escape hatch and emerges into the same hallway where Dana and Marty are hiding. In the ensuing struggle, Dana manages to stab Sitterson with a gun she took from a dead guard. As Sitterson lies dying, he croaks out a cryptic message to Dana: "Kill him." Fearful but determined, Dana holds the gun tightly, unsure what to do next, with Marty by her side. Dana and Marty reach a room filled with strange stone outlines. It dawns on Dana that these outlines represent each of them: Dana, Marty, Holden, Kurt, and Jules. Everything they've been through was a twisted ritual sacrifice. Suddenly, a familiar voice fills the room. It's the director, Sigourney Weaver, the one who spoke through the loudspeakers. She explains the facility's purpose and the ancient ritual they've been unwittingly participating in. This ritual, older than human history, is performed worldwide to appease the dark gods, monstrous beings who once ruled the earth. The creatures they've encountered are mere pawns compared to these sleeping giants. Standing above a gaping pit, Dana and Marty realize this pit leads to the resting place of the dark gods. The director reveals the ritual keeps these gods dormant, requiring specific sacrifices. 5 individuals embodying certain roles. Jules, the whore, died first. Now there are 4 more: the scholar, Holden, the athlete, Kurt, the fool, Marty, and the virgin, Dana. The order doesn't matter, as long as Jules died first and Dana remains alive at the end. The director chillingly concludes that Dana's fate now rests with the whims of the dark gods. The director reveals the horrifying truth. This ritual, with its specific sacrifices, is humanity's only defense against the ancient, monstrous dark gods. But the final decision rests with the dark gods themselves. Will they accept Dana's sacrifice and stay dormant, or will humanity face their wrath? The stakes couldn't be higher. The director pleads with them. The world's fate hinges on completing the ritual, which means Marty must die. Marty scoffs at the idea, questioning whether humanity deserves saving if such a barbaric act is the only way. Torn between saving the world and her newfound friend, Dana raises the gun Marty took earlier. The weight of the decision hangs heavy in the air. Suddenly, a monstrous werewolf lunges at Dana, attacking her savagely. The gun clatters to the floor. Without hesitation, Marty grabs the gun and blasts the werewolf, sending it fleeing with a whimper. The director lunges at Marty, but before she can deliver the final blow, a shocking twist occurs. The vengeful ghost of the diary girl appears, ripping the director to shreds. With a mighty kick, Marty sends both the director and the ghost girl plummeting into the very pit that leads to the dark gods. Dazed but alive, Dana and Marty share a bittersweet moment, lighting up a joint together. The weight of their ordeal hangs heavy, but a fragile camaraderie has formed between them. As they contemplate the uncertain future, the ground begins to tremble violently. Cracks snake across the floor, growing wider by the second. Then, back at the cabin, the earth erupts. A giant hand bursts through the wooden structure, slamming onto the ground, the first terrifying sign of the awakened dark gods reaching the surface.